Check and see what my volume is like, honey.
Distribution. Stampin' Up in there.
Good evening. This is Gina Tadella. I live here in Poulsbo, Washington, near Keyport, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And tonight I'm going to demonstrate a couple of the products that are on the celebration. And then we got 4 more days. It ends after Friday at 10:59 our time. So if you haven't had a chance and I've inspired you, make sure you find something. And if I'm not your demonstrator and you have a local one, contact your local demonstrator. So tonight I'm going to show the pick a season. This is a celebration that you can earn with a $60 order. I'm also going to show you the fruit salad 6x6 DSP, which is also another one that you can get as a free item for $60. And I'm going to show you the front and back. So I'm going to bring it closer. This is the front side. That's the other side. Here's the next one. That side. Then bananas. If any of y'all have that monkey set that we had, I think it's still in the catalog, but it's not as a bundle, but it had a punch that went with it. This is great paper to go with it. And here's the next one. So each side has a solid color, and then the other side has a beautiful print. And this is the sheet. I got it upside down. Sorry about that. I'm using tonight to go with the pick a tree. Okay, so let me turn that back over. And then here's the orange slices. And then the oranges on the other side with lemons. Love this geographical background. It can be used for anything. And then the opposite side is cantaloupe or melons. This is pineapple slices. And of course, you know it's going to be pineapples on the other side. And I had one flipped. And Adelphi, I grabbed the wrong package. But that's okay. Yes, this is watermelon seeds. And of course, the other side is the rind. So last year we had a celebration set that this would go perfectly with. So just to give you a heads up. And this is just like a spotted background. But on the other side, it is kiwi. Okay? So this would go great with any of the tropical, the birds, fish, any of that. Let's put that back over. Okay, and then here's this side. Great, great solid color background. But on the other side is the bananas, strawberries, and oranges, and pineapples. So it gives you a mixture. And then last but not, no, we got two more, I think. Yeah, two more. This side is pears. And of course, we have the yellow background. And then here's the last one, pomegranates. I've never tried those. Has anybody else tried these? Okay. They usually come out, a lot of people buy them during the winter time, fall and winter. Okay, so that is the paper. So, and at the end, I'm going to show you one of those butterfly cards. I'm going to be using the die cutting machine and everything, so that way people can see how to do it. So, but here's the stamp set. It doesn't have apples, but I'm going to use this one for our apples. But it has Easter eggs, shamrocks. I'm going to create one for St. Patty's Day. It has hearts. Of course, it has a fence. It has clouds, grass, and two different types of leaves that you can put on the little small stick tree, or you can decorate it. So, but we're going to use this tree, and we're going to use this stump. So, excuse me, I'm almost over that crud. I don't know what it was. Hello, Linda. Thanks for joining in. I'm going to ask my husband to bring me my bottle of water. So, he can hear me. He's right over there in his chair. So this is a photopolymer stamp set. And I've already got them stuck on the sheet that has the images on there. So when you first get it, it's mounted to two plastic sheets. One's hard and one's a flimsy piece. Don't keep the flimsy piece. Keep the hard one once you get them mounted here. Thank you, honey. So, hi, Bee. Definitely needed to hydrate because I'm on medicine. All right, so we need this tree trunk. That's photopolymer. So just in case those of you that don't know, let me see who else is on here. Hey, Sherry Parker. She lives over there on the other side of the water. Looking here. There's the swirls. One of the swirls. That's going to be our apples. It didn't have apples, but that's okay. And then this is the greenery for the tree. And then I'm going to mount that on a D block. And then where is the little shamrocks? Because I need those for the second card. There they are. There's the shamrocks. So keep in mind when using photopolymer, you want to gently peel it off the case. And when you place it on the block, when you take it back off, peel it off. Always rinse them off with just water. That's all you need. And when you're stamping with them, if you either need to have a pad of paper or a foam pad or a piece of chipboard. That's all you need because it doesn't have any support underneath it, so you do need to give that. Sometimes it just doesn't do it justice if you stamp straight on a hard table. So, first off, I'm going to give you the measurements, and we're going to go ahead and do the shamrock one first. Now I'm using Early Espresso, Granny Apple Green, and Old Olive. Okay? And Old Olive is going to be the shamrocks. Granny Apple Green is going to be all the greenery of the tree. So to get started, you need a piece of the thick white. Whenever I'm doing layers, I use the thick white base. You can use colored paper, any of our color cardstock. The only downside, you got to cut a piece of, we call it a basic white, 4 by 5 1/4 to go on the inside. So a lot of the times I do basic white thick cardstock as my base, and then I add my color cardstock as my layers. So that way it shows. So this is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. It's going to be folded in half, and it's going to be a portrait card. It's vertical when it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Last time y'all saw I did it with the 4 1/4 by 11, which was a landscape card. Okay, so now I'm using Old Olive as my inlay, and that is 4 by 5 1/4. And I use a piece of that DSP from the fruit salad. And then you see that's the other side of it. This is measured at 2 by 5. So when you go to cut your 6 by 6, cut it at 5 on one side before you cut 2, 2, 2. That way you don't have any waste. That 1-inch piece can be used as a layer on another card. And then this is what is it? Lemon lime twist, and this is a 3 by 3 1/4. I'm pretty sure. Whoops. Do need to do the right side. 3 by 3 1/4, and this is 2 3/4 by 3 of just a regular basic white. Okay. So before we go to get those together, let's do our stamping first. So we want to stamp this part first, then we do the trunk. The reason for that, because I had to make this piece small enough so we didn't cover up all the DSP. That's why. So we're going to ink this up and we're going to prime it. Let me move my other paper out of the way. And so you don't want to press down hard on the ink pad. You just want to blot it all the way around. And then you want to stamp here. Perfect. Now the stamp is primed. So now you can just go walk it back around the pad. If you press down, you're going to get ink all around your block. You don't want that. So you want to take your time. And then we're going to bring this all the way as far as we can to the top. And then I can usually count to 5. There you go. And there is that. Then we're going to turn that over because we're going to use it on another card. Then we're going to open up your early espresso. So those of y'all are not familiar, our newer pads, I haven't changed all of mine. They just flip up. But the older pads, if any of y'all ever buy somebody's used ones and it has the 3 dots, just push and press. Well, usually it does. This one's being temperamental. And sometimes they do have a mind of their own, that's for sure. But I think this one, I think my Granny Apple Green is a new pad. It is. So I'll give you an idea. So all you do is lift this up. The new pads are all just like that. Very easy. Now we're going to prime the trunk as well. Just want to gently walk it around your ink pad. I can see where I didn't pick it up. The good thing about photopolymer is you can see through the block. Perfect. Now I want to do the same thing. And then I'm going to bring this all the way up. Just like that. And there is the trunk. Isn't that cool? So now I'll put this block over here. Now, since our shamrocks are very small, we're going to go ahead and stamp those with the old olive. It could be the shaded spruce or the mossy meadow, whichever color you like. They all are good, great greens to use. But remember, you always want to prime when it's the first time using. And that is not. That's my apples. Okay. Wrong one. That's why it's always good to stamp scrap paper. Wonderful. Now I can see which way they go. Just like that. All right. So, we're just going to stamp them right in there. They fill in the holes. And I have a friend named Patty, and her birthday she has a birthday on St. Patty's Day. So, I will send this card to her. She'll probably be shocked. Okay, so there it is. So it doesn't hurt to even have a darker color. And you're probably saying, what is that? You missed something. No, I didn't. It's all right. So, and then if you wanted to, you could add grass. But I'm not going to do that. I'll show you why. So while that is drying, I'm going to take a piece of this gingham. And the gingham we have now has got a vanilla, which it doesn't matter whether it's white or vanilla. We're going to go ahead and wrap this around. And we're going to wrap it 1.5 times. And then cut it with our ribbon scissors. Wrong ones. All my paper snips are been cut with paper, so don't cut ribbon. Unless I got a piece of ribbon on them. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our Stampin' Blend. And we're going to color every other square. Don't use your brush end because it will wear it out. Use your writer's tip. And I'm just giving it color on the ribbon instead of just being black and white. A lot of people say, I didn't know you could do that. Well, yes, you can. Especially with the Stampin' Blend because they dry instantly. There's no having to wait, but do use your writer's tip. Do not use your brush, because it will wear your brush out. Almost done. By the time I get finished with this, we'll be able to put that card together, and you will absolutely love it. I hadn't done it. I had it in my mind. Okay? There we go. We're all done with that. Oh, thank you, Linda. Okay, so that is all done. So I'll give you an idea so you can see. Let me put it on a white piece so you can see that. See how? There you go. All right. So now we're ready to put these all together. So first off, we want to mount, we're not going to mount it to our card base because we want to wrap the ribbon around this first. We're going to go ahead and mount this. And I always use the wet glue. Each person has their preference. You use whatever works best for you. But if you use the wet glue, try not to get close to the outside edges because it will seep out. So you see how I'm just going around and just going all the way around. And you just put a little bit in the center. This gives you time to get it situated. And there we go. And you could even emboss this after you put your DSP on, but I'm not going to emboss it. I'm going to show you that on the third card. So, all right. Now we can mount this to our main card. And you can see it better with me doing it on the green versus doing it on the designer paper. There we go. Got that all situated. My dear upline, Denise Waddell, I didn't realize her birthday was February 13th, and I just saw several of the things on her post and saw that her birthday was the 13th. So I got to send her a little care package. It says, with a sorry belated birthday. But I usually just write a message on a post-it note, so this way they can always use the card to send to somebody else. Okay, so there's that. Now, we're going to go ahead and wrap this ribbon around the little tree. And I'm not going to tie a bow, I'm just going to do a knot. So you just tie it once. It's going to be a soft knot, so that way it doesn't have any bumpity. And then you're going to just take this, just to show you, when you color with the Stampin' Blend, it does go through to both sides of the ribbon, so you don't have to worry about that. So there's the soft knot. And I'll trim off that edge. It's got a little bit of pull where I pulled it. Okay. Okay, so there's that. And this is going to get mounted right on here. Very easy card. No sentiment necessary, because you can always you can stamp your sentiment on the inside when you're ready to use it. I like to do that because that way I have cards for any occasion. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my adhesive. You could use Stampin' Dimensionals, but if you do, you will have to pay extra postage. I always like to forewarn people there. But, you know, if you're sending them a card and just as, you know, as a happy birthday, you don't mind. Oops, I went too far over. You don't mind paying the extra postage? Go for it. Just for an extra ounce. I buy the extra forever 1 ounce stamps anyways. So I always have them on hand, because most of mine, when I send them out, they always have bumps or extra thicknesses. There we go. And there is that first card. Now wait till you see the apples. So let me move that out of the way and close up my glue so it doesn't dry on me. So now we're going to do the same thing. This is a basic thick white cardstock base, 5.5 by 8.5. You're going to fold this in half, and you can use a bone folder or your finger, and you start in the center and go up, in the center and go down. And this is real red, 4 by 5 1/4. And I want the ribbon to go all the way around all the pieces, so you'll see that. And here's the apple, and there's the red side. And this is 2 inches by 5. Remember, on your 6-inch piece of paper, cut it at 5 first, so you have that long 1-inch strip, and look at the design before you cut it, so your image ain't sideways or upside down. And then you cut them at 2 inches. So we'll go ahead and then we'll mount that on there. And then this is a 3 by 3 1/4 and 2 3/4 by 3. So let's mount this first. And then we can put this to the side. You see on the red, you can really see the glue. On that green, it was kind of hard with the lighting. I'm just giving it, it's going to have a red edge around the edges. Okay, so I'm going to put that to the side. We don't want to mount that because we want to put the ribbon on. So while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and measure the ribbon. Now this one, I'm going to tie a bow. So I'm going to wrap it 1. Make sure I don't have it twisted. 2 full wraps when you want to tie a bow. Okay, and this one I'm not coloring, but I showed you the coloring earlier. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and tie this. And it really goes great with the apple. Reminds me of a picnic basket full of apples, or when you go pick apples. Yeah. Alright. This ribbon is so easy to tie. B, I know you could do that. Because it's very easy. It's just like the taffeta. The taffeta we used to have. So easy. Okay, there we go. Now I'll just go ahead and trim off and make it a little diagonal point there. And then do this side. Just don't cut your ribbon. Get that scrap pieces out of the way. There we go. So there is that. All right. Now, we're ready to mount that piece. But I don't want to mount it. Why? Because I want to see if I need to move my ribbon. So, don't always be in a rush to push it up till you know for sure, till you've done your first one. So now we're ready to stamp our apple tree. So, we are going to use, I think, the olive. Wasn't I using the olive? I'm pretty sure. Yes, I was using the olive on this one. Not the granny apple green. Okay. So we're going to use the old olive with the real red. Let's knock my camera down. And we're going to use these little circles for apples. Okay. That's why I wanted to do the first one first, because I knew it was going to be the light green, the granny apple green. We're going to bring this up as far as we can. Count to 5. Even pressure. That's it. Okay, I'm going to do my, oh, there's Early Espresso. We were saying, what did I do with it? I knew I just used it earlier. So, now we're just going to bring this up. You're going to bring it all the way up to the leaves. just like that. Okay. Now we want the real red to stamp the apples. So when you close them, you just pull them and close up. Okay. This is an old one too. I usually don't replace my pads till they've worn out. We've had a couple of changeovers where they had been revamped, and I've been a demonstrator since 1997. So I've had real red's been replaced several times. Just hasn't been replaced yet now. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that. And they look perfect as apples. And yes, guess what? I didn't do. I did not prime the stamp. But I did prime it, remember? I accidentally stamped it in green. Just wasn't primed in red, but I'd already switched it off over here. So there is our apple tree. Okay. And now we want to go ahead and mount that. You close the red up. Because I'm going to be bringing that big machine up here, and I don't want all this stuff in the way. When I do that, you'll understand in a moment. Because it takes up all the space. So we can go ahead and glue this first. I just love how sometimes they bring products in that coordinates with products that we've had in the past that we can use with them. Because I know a lot of demonstrators as well as customers don't get rid of those just because they've retired or they're no longer available. Okay, I'm going to gently press on that. And I'm just going to bring this over to the edge, and you can see the apples. I don't want to bring it all the way over because that looks funky. So I'm just going to bring it like that. And down here. Just enough. So I am going to move this ribbon down. Because I want to be able to show. There we go. That looks better. Okay. Alright, so now we're ready to mount this. So I'm going to mount my big piece first. And you can use tear tape too, if you don't want to use wet glue. Or the dry adhesive. Now see this one here has a bow. I'm going to use some, I don't think I brought dimensionals in here, but I got foam strips. I'll just use some foam strips on it. Now we're going to go ahead and mount that and leave a white edge all the way around. And try to mount it as even as possible. Don't have to be perfect. Don't ever worry about that. Nobody's going to sit there and measure. Believe me. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'll use my foam strips. I can't keep any dimensionals or mini dimensionals by my computer. My sweet little Fifi thinks it's her play toy. She takes off with them, and then she gets them stuck on her fur. Oh my goodness. Alright, let me get my regular paper snips. And then we're going to just do this. And the foam strips are used for shaker cards, big areas that you want to put dimension around. So keep that in mind, especially if it's a rectangle. And so that way, you know. And I'm just going to put one right in the center diagonal. There we go. And then this just goes right back on the sheet. Just like that. Then I'll have to slide it back in the container. There it is. Afterwards. So I'm just going to fold that over to protect it. There we go. Out of her grasp in my little basket there. So when you want to take this off, just put your nail or the point of your scissors, push down, and then that peels right off. Okay. I think 3 more to go. Yep, I got 4 done. There's number 5. There we go. I'm just going to make it even at the top. That looks better. But then you don't see it. Well, you see the apples at the bottom. That's true. That looks better. So, there we go. So there is that card. Very easy to do. Not hard at all. Okay, May. I hear you, honey. So there's the 2. Just did a couple different color schemes using the same package of DSP. Almost similar colors, except we're using real red and old olive, but we're using the lemon lime twist as the layer. And you're using the black ribbon. This one was colored with a Stampin' Blend, and this one was not. Okay. So now let's go on to using the big machine. All right. I am going to be using this embossing folder. And of course, I don't have the piece of paper that goes with it. It's probably with the other stuff. Hold up. Where's my stamp set? So this is a hybrid. And y'all probably saying, what does that mean? Well, it means it has dies that will go inside these areas and you can emboss it. Yes, indeedy. Let me find the rest of my stuff. Here it is. Okay, I'll show you the card that we're going to create. And I'll show it step by step. I did this today. There's the card. You see that embossing folder? And this is a die. This is the one I did not show y'all. But I told you I'd come back and show you the bigger one. I showed you the one that cut into the card. So if you didn't catch that, make sure you go back and check that out. Okay, and I'm using the pearls. Let me get all my stuff. Okay, here we are. So this is last year's DSP. And I had a couple of packages and 2 people, they said, well, how much you want for it? I said, you can have it. You've placed an order, just have that. So, but I still had another package. I had 3 packages. So I used it with this. So, and there's our layer. Here is Calypso Coral. This is Petal Pink. Basic Black. So, here is the hybrid embossing folder. So, we have images that cut out those butterflies. And I'll show you what I mean. So, the ones I'm using tonight is this one and this one. The ones you saw me do in the video was using that one. We need this die. That's it. Okay. This gets placed right on the fold. So it only cuts out this part and then you flip it up. Yeah. So I did a card with that. Then it gives you 2 small bodies. This butterfly and this delicate one that can go separate or it can go inside. Okay. Alrighty. Let's see what's up. No, it's just blank. Okay. Alrighty. So let me move this out of the way so I can show you what we're going to do. I'll make y'all wait for me. Okay. Alright. So here's that stamp set. So here is what it looks like if you stamp it, because we have a stamp set. And this is the one with a $60 order you're able to earn. So why not order the dies that comes with the hybrid embossing folder, right? And then you can order a little bit of supplies and then get this for free. right? How can you beat that? These can be tulips or butterfly wings, because here's the body, and then you can stamp that on the paper. So, just to show you that. And it has the words, time to celebrate, in case you need me, I'm here, hello, happy birthday, so thankful, and for you. So, now this will be available, but they added this in February as a free celebration item. Yeah, so it's in the online store, but you can get it free through Friday. Move all that out of the way, and here's the card. We'll move that out of the way so we can get busy. So first steps first. This here is a 4-inch by 5 1/4. This is 2 inches by 5 1/4. So the first thing you want to do is you want to mount this to the white before we emboss it. Okay, so let's do that. Make sure I do it right side up. That's so important. So here we go. There we go. Line that up. There we go. And then you can turn it over to see if you got it straight. And we do. Hallelujah. All right. All right. So, I'm going to go ahead and emboss this. So you need platform 1, your embossing folder, and remember this is the right side up, but when you put it in the machine, the folded edge needs to be just about there. Don't try to put it in this way. It only should go in this way. So we're just going to go ahead and line up a paper just like that. And then we're going to put number 4. Whenever it's a 3D or hybrid, you don't need the plates. You just need 1 and 4. And the big machine that's so cumbersome. Oh my goodness. And then you slide it in like a sandwich and you roll it. Make believe you're making pasta, but you're making pressed paper. Had to add that little tidbit. Okay, wait till you see this. Oh my goodness. There it is. Isn't that gorgeous? Yep. Okay. Alrighty. Alright, now, we're done with that. Now we're going to do the die cutting. Excuse me. Alright. In the die cutting, let me move the machine back out of the way so I can show you. You need number 1. You need number 2. You need 1 number 3. And we need a piece of black so we can do the body. And this body, if you use your small 1/2-inch circles, you can make this an ant or a caterpillar. Just think of all the added ideas. Yeah. Okay. We'll line that up on the black. And we're going to bring in the petal pink because it's smaller than the other. And we're going to do the detailed die. There we go. And then you add number 3 second cutting plate. Now, we'll bring the machine back up. Move this out of the way. Okay. Bring this back in. Wait, my little body moved and I had to shift it. That's okay. And we're going to roll this in and move it back just a touch because I want to hit my camera. Okay. Okay, since this is a detailed, I usually make suggestions. Use a piece of wax paper on top of the cardstock and then the die, or roll it back one more time. Only on the detailed dies, not the outline dies. Let's move this back out of the way. Now, today, when I visited my ladies in West Bremerton, one of them ordered this item. She ordered, and it doesn't show you a good picture, but it's right here. She ordered this foam and the brush. And she got 2 foams. They're wrapped in plastic in a box. And she come, and after we were done with class, she had her friend Cindy go get it. And Cindy brought it to me. And I go, yeah, these are for the foam brush. And she says, what brush? So when I pulled the foam pads out, the brush was in the bottom, inside of a box. And this is on page 94. It's called Take Your Pick Die Brush Tip. Now that attaches to the Take Your Pick tool, which is, I don't even see it, right here. Your Take Your Pick tool, number 9. So if you don't have one of those, you see me use it all the time. This side that screws on is the side that you put your die brush on. I have the old die brush, so I don't need that. But I wanted to show that to you because that's on page 94, item number 7. And if you don't have the Take Your Pick tool, it's on page 95, item number 9. One's 12 and the other one is 13, which comes with the foam pads. And I'm going to show you that. So easy when you get the stuff out of your images. Let me move that catalog out of my way. Okay, so here we go, and I'll show you what I mean. So there's that. And where is my box? So I keep one of my kit boxes, or your paper pumpkin box. And then you take this and move this other stuff out of the way. Okay. And then you just roll this. See mine here? So when this wears out, I have to buy me the brush attachment that goes to my Take Your Pick tool. Excuse me. So you're going to go ahead and just roll this on top of this foam pad. And it takes all that stuff out. See that? And then all you do is you bang it off and you place it back on. And so some of those small ones, it doesn't want to come out. That's where your Take Your Pick tool comes in handy with the poker. So you just poke. And those just pop right on out. And then I just rub it backside. We just got a couple up there. Always make sure that your die is clean before you run it through paper again. Because if not, it's not going to do a good cut. There it is. So now we just poke on those outside edges and gently pull. There we go. So your detail ones, you want to gently pull. Don't pull hard, because it is snug in there, because you're working with cardstock. There we go. And there it is. There is that butterfly. Nice and detailed. And the die is all clean. And then all you do is bang that, and then when you're done with it, you just dump out your box. Okay. Oh, I need that for the other one. I won't need it for the next one because that's easy to do. It's an outline, so it doesn't need that. Okay, then I need it for this one to get the body out. There we go. And this one you want to be careful too because you don't want to tear your little antennas. There we go. Right. Put my die in there so I don't lose it. Okay. Now, I'll need that for one more time when I do the other. I'm done with this. So I'll close that all up. Now we're ready to cut out the big outlay of the butterfly out of Calypso Coral. So it's the same thing. 1, 2, 3, cardstock, and the outline die. There we go. And then you put the other number 3 on there. And then we bring the machine back up. And we cut. And this you only need to run one time. One time. And now I can move this big thing out of my way. And we can work on our card. There it is. This pops out real easy. There we go. Okay. And put that over there. And move these out of the way. Well, that's what I dropped. The hybrid embossing folder. Okay. Alright. So the first thing first is we're going to take our bone folder and we're going to curve these. Just gently run it between your thumb and your bone folder. If you don't have a bone folder, you can use a stylus tool, the wood edge of the handle. Okay. If you don't have that, you can use a paper, we call it, oh, I can't think of it. I used to give away the Pampered Chef scraper tools because we didn't have bone folders when I first started. And they worked great. So, okay, so there's that. This one, you don't want to do that. Why? Because it's so delicate you could break it. So the first thing first is you have 2 choices of laying it. You can do it this way and lay it on top where it just shows the head and the tail black and just an outline. But on mine, I showed it on the very top. So it just depends on each person's preference, but I wanted to show you what it looks like. There it is. Okay, and you slide this down just a little bit. Go. So there, let's see, get those wings situated a little bit. So that is what it looks like if you don't want the whole black body. If you just want the antennas and the head and just the tail end. Now, on the card I did it all. So in this one, I'm going to just do the opposite. So that way you have a choice of variation so you can see. Yeah, you're right, V. It is one of those ones that you use all the time. Now, when you're putting the glue on here, I chose not to put it on the antennas too hard for most people. But you can just do a little bit here on the body. And then just spread it. Don't squeeze the glue anymore. And just spread it. And then you should have enough on your ends that will grab. Okay? And then we're going to pick this up and place this on here. This gives you time to get that situated. There we go. And then the same thing when you put it on the back of this body. You just squeeze a little dot, and then you just spread it. That way you don't get too much. Or you can use the fine tip glue. And I'm just going to center this. There we go. And I'm not putting any glue on that. You don't need to. So, now we are ready to put dimensionals. But like I said, y'all remember, I don't have the dimensionals in here. I didn't bring them in here. I've been cleaning up this workspace. It was, oh my gosh, it's so bad. And what really got me gung-ho is I couldn't find my dang on passport. And I had it last year when I went to On Stage. And now I can't find it. But I had earned, when I went to one manager's event, or senior manager's event, they gave me this nice burgundy padded passport book holder. So it's not just a blue book. I'm looking for that. And like my husband mentioned, he goes, you know, it's probably still in that carry-on bag that you carry. It's one of those, is it Durkee Brook? I'm trying to think. Those padded bags. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Well, they always are at any of the events. And I got it at one convention. I got my mom one too because she went with me to Salt Lake twice. So we got one of those. It's so easy to carry on the plane, and it has nice thick handles. They even sell suitcases, but I couldn't afford the suitcases. Okay, now we're going to do this. And then here, we're going to just put a piece of tear tape. Okay? Not wet glue, because we want it to go ahead and mount straight down. You'll understand what I mean. So we're going to go ahead and put that on here. I'm so thankful that the Lord is watching out for us because it is so windy up here. We've lost power several times, and I was worried about that when I was getting ready to do my video tonight. And all of a sudden I see it flashing again. So we peel that off. Tear tape, you put it on. You can tear it off like you just saw me do. And you rub it, and then you just peel it off. Okay? Now, we're going to do these two. Peel off our foam strips. Make sure you had pressed down on them because you don't want those to peel back off when you're putting them down. Now, this butterfly is going this way. You can have it this way or that way. But I'm going to choose to go with the flow of having that one. And I want that big one to show that I have just a portion of it. And then you're going to push in the center. And then you got to press the top and the bottom. And then that layers it up. And I forgot to cut me a piece of folded cardstock. Maybe I have one over here. No, that's not folded cardstock. But that's all right. Y'all see the done one over here. But now we're going to add the pearls. This is what just does it justice. Where's my pearl gems? Okay. These are still in there. These you can color with your blends, Stampin' blends. But like I said, use an old one that's worn out. Or use the writer's tip. Okay? This is where your take your pick tool is wonderful. Or your scissors. If you don't have a take your pick tool, you can use your scissors. So, I'm going to use the medium one. And this one's going to go right here on the head. And then I'm going to use the small ones. And place them right on the black. And I'm just doing a total of 3. You can overdo a card. You don't want to do that. And there's that. And these, my plastic envelope, it broke, so I just used my clear envelopes. Love these clear envelopes. Great for putting your accessories or handmade cards in. So, there is that. So, let me show you what we created. So, I know I don't have the folded card that it goes on, but let's just make believe that we have it. Okay? And then there is the apple one. And here is the St. Patty's Shamrock one for good luck. And then you could even use our gold embellishments or our sequins and add if you wanted to. I just didn't want to overdo it. So I hope y'all have enjoyed that. I've had a blast creating these and sharing them. The girls will love it this week as well. I know my Monday class loved the butterflies. My Tuesday groups last week all did them. So, anyways, thanks again. Be sure to share this video with your friends. And I usually don't. I try not to promote myself because they have their own demonstrator, and those who know me, they know how to get in touch with me. But it's just mainly to get everybody to create and have fun. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Bye bye. I'll be back here on Monday next week at 7 p.m. Bye bye.